There we go. So Cena is now really quite wealthy. And we definitely want to build a mosque there. That is the other thing I need to check, is how worthwhile it is building workshops and things. Yeah, it is getting very worthwhile building workshops. And Cena is going to be pretty worthwhile having a mosque. So we need to get some buildings up and running as soon as these bloody tats are dealt with. Right, you are the cavalry. You are going to be back into drilling. And you guys are just going to head up to there to deal with that. Excellent. We're already on speed 4. Perfect. Estates demand. Right, Elima wants more land. Because of course they do. Right, do I have anything like down here which I can give you? Like that. 111. Has to be an estate. You're a 221. 111. Will do. Elima. And actually you would... No. One of you. You would have been better for the Elima. Never mind. I'm going to give you to the Amirs. And I'm going to start clearing out the Amirs, I think. You would definitely do well as the Amirs. Lima, you would be an ad. No, can't do it. Can't do it. All these places with the 2 in military development, I'm like, no. Right, because I don't actually own that one. What about over here? Aha! Here we go. Amirs. Amirs. And you're already a Lima. So, we have got a little bit more leeway for clearing out some more Amirs. So where are they located currently? There was one province up here which was, yeah, super valuable. And we definitely want to get them out there. So I'm going to move my armies up here. That is going to cancel their training. And we're going to beef up the maintenance once again just to do this. And then we can sit back and, you know, let things happen. Because we're going to need to recover autonomy and that type of thing too. You can be recalled. And military access from the Timurids because they're fighting. Yes, absolutely. Right, the other thing is Shamar is ready to start being annexed. So we're going to go and do that. We are still focusing on Diplo, right? Yes, we are. Stay there for a second. So that we're not suffering undue attrition. Also, the other thing is apparently supply depots are based here. Aha, there it is. You need 20% army professionalism to build supply depots. Building a supply depot in Tarabus will cost 20 military and gives the following effect. Plus 50% supply limit modifier. And it counts as owned territory when determining reinforcements. Interesting. So you can build supply depots in occupied territory. So that you can have forward operating bases. Oh, I like that. And then refill a local garrison with manpower from this army's infantry, which allows you to basically garrison forts as you take them. Also very nice. No zombie smash tonight. No, I'm afraid not. Because I have this preview DLC, I really want to preview it as much as I can before Thursday when it is released to the masses. So that I can show off the goodness that's going on here. I'm pleased that people are asking about that, though. Because I'm always a little bit dubious about 7 days because I usually have like 7 viewers compared to the 70 I had last night for this, again, preview. But you're the second person who's asked about it today, so that's good. What stats do the German states get for being in the Holy Roman Empire, assuming the HRE exists? Yes, it does absolutely exist. And the HRE makes up a really big part of playing in Central Europe. It's not so much stats, it's if you are the Emperor, so if you are at the moment Austria, then you get additional actions that you can take. You can get CB, so casus belli, so a justification for war against countries which attack areas which own legitimate HRE provinces. So, for example, if France gets a bit angsty and takes out Munster, who is in the HRE, then Austria would have a legitimate cause for war to attack France to take Munster back and give it back to Munster. So Austria can be a real levelling field player in that area. Also, the Emperor gets huge bonuses to their army size, the number of manpower they have available, and also money. And that only increases as they do these reforms over time. These reforms can also help the other members of the HRE. So, for example, Reichsreform gives the Emperor and all members construction cost reduction and development cost reduction. Reichs regiment. The Emperor gets them another diplomat and diplomatic reputation, so they can make alliances more easily, while all of the members get a reduction to unrest. And then the other big one is the Gemeine Pfennig. The Emperor gets a big chunk of additional cash per month, while all of the members get more diplomatic reputation, again meaning that they can formulate more alliances and stuff. And if any member of the HRE gets attacked by a non-member, then the Emperor is called in. So it's dangerous to meddle in the HRE if you're not already inside it. It's not overpowered, really, because within the HRE you're also limited. Like, you can't just, as Brandenburg, gobble up Saxony, which is why this is still a myriad of different countries, unless you have a legitimate core on one of these countries. Like, you can claim it, you can declare war on it, but then Austria will turn around and say, that's not yours, give it back. You can say no, which will potentially put you at odds with Austria, or you can kind of call their bluff and have other strong allies which Austria may not want to meddle with, or time it while Austria is at war with someone else. So there's a lot of kind of influence and intrigue going on in the HRE, so it's quite a different game than playing, say, as Castile. Genoese Pontic steppe near Crimea. Yes, because actually Genoa owned a bunch of trade posts over here, and in fact some historians believe that it was Genoa that is responsible for spreading the Black Death into Europe, because basically they were trading with the steppes over here. The steppes had the plague, they shifted it to Genoa, possibly when the Mongols were besieging some of these holdings. They'd shoot infected carcasses into the Genoese trade posts. The Genoese traders would then bring it back to Europe, and then from Europe it would spread elsewhere because Genoa was a trading power. But this was basically because there were some really serious trade ports coming through here as part of the Silk Road, came through Crimea, basically trying to steal money away from the Ottomans and from the Mamluks. It was just another route for money to flow. And it looks like in this they've just doubled down on that, trying to really get a big chunk of that. And in this, that kind of trade is modelled, because, for example, Crimea is a trade node. If you own a lot of strength into Crimea, you can push that trade into Constantinople. If you have a lot of strength in Constantinople, you can then push it to Ragusa, and then Ragusa can push it into Genoa. And that's how Genoa would steal money away from, say, Venice, who would usually go via Alexandria. Ergo, Genoa doomed the whole of Europe. Well, not exactly doomed it, but certainly didn't help them. The Mongols threw sick bodies into Ukrainian cities with kind of bioweapons, if I remember correctly. Yeah, they did that a number of times. But then so did a lot of other people. Like, it wasn't just the Mongols doing that. Using disease was kind of seen as a legit form of warfare. Right, so we were going to steal land from the Amir, so we're going to move you over here to make sure that we have our full army in place. And then I'm going to strip you of your position. And you're not going to like it. You're going to fight back, but the Royal Army is sitting here ready to crush you. No, 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 no. Alright, you're down to 12%, so I can probably still rob one or two other provinces from you. So what else is worth a lot? Sugar and salt. Total 0.39, those are both worth the same. 1.3, wow, you are a really profitable location. You are a 13 development, I'm not so surprised by that. So we need to take you out of there. Go. We might need to give you some of the less profitable cattle locations down there. I'm just doing some major reforms of who owns what land here in Mamluk territories right now. Because it started with the Amirs owning all of the good stuff, and I want the good stuff. Percentage of land will go down to 9%, so they're going to get really uppity about this. They are going to fight back, but I still outnumber them significantly, and my camel hordes are here. You can't fight back against that, and now the Amirs are going to go, but we want more land, and I'm going to go, alright then. Isna, 221, I mean, technically the Alema would be better there. But I'm still going to put you here. Amirs, that should keep you quiet. Attracting the right people. By assisting our nobles in confining the serfs to their lands, we have greatly enriched the landed aristocracy. A wealthy nobility is one that can devote time to life's higher pursuits, and lesser sons of any house of respect will count a number of loyal and able artists, administrators, and other men of quality among the scions. Some are quite eager to pay the state back for the service it has done to their families. So the Amirs are going to get loyalty. Damn right they are. And we also get a trader, level 2, who is 50% cheaper. And if he is Egyptian, he'll be even cheaper than that, so we might well want to pick him up. So you're the... yeah, you're the guy. You are indeed Egyptian. Wow. Okay, totally worth it. So you are worth 2 a month. We're currently paying a guy 4 a month. You are so much cheaper. And I could even upgrade you to make you even stronger. So you would then be a level 3. And you would be at half price, reduced by a further 20. You're basically going to be at 25% the cost. So that is a really good investment for a level 3. You're still worth only 4. That price would usually be about 10. So that is really, really good. Okay, good. And who was that? Nike, thank you very much for the follow. Appreciate that. Or Nike, if you are American. Let's move you out and have you drilling. Because I don't think there's anything else I can do to the Amirs right now. So we may as well, rebels allowing, drop our maintenance. So our cavalry is still going to be paid fully, which is why I'm not making as much money, but we will start to train them up, which means that they will be far more effective in combat. Yeah, Poland's already on my list to play as Nike. I think he wants to play Norway. You're trying to put words in my mouth, legit player. I think the next one that I'll do on Hearts of Iron is probably going to be Switzerland, but Poland and Norway are both on my list. I know there's been a lot of people asking for Norway. How's my navy? My navy is utterly rubbish. I have not invested in it at all, because in the early game, navies are kind of rubbish. They just don't earn enough. Mid-game and late-game, though, navies are critical in this game. They can make you so much money, and it's an aspect of the game people don't really recognise, which often gives me a huge advantage in multiplayer. Just watch the Pale Pirates, which is a multiplayer game I did with Ben, Bob, and Roach. And Nems. Yeah. Was Roach in that one? Yes, Roach was in that one. Which was really good. I was playing basically as Ireland, and I just had this huge navy, which really scared people. Like early on, I had some bad times. I had some really, really bad times. But Uldra Hill made a very good investment in the Irish potential and allowed us to flourish. And then after that, I was able to slap people around. It was awesome. The dynasty of our noble Sultan, Abaza, is certainly a powerful one. Although Ahmad II, I always think that's through Ahmad II, they rule our nation and will do so for many years to come. However, even the great are sometimes in need of help. Thankfully, the Abaza family has strong bonds to other great powers, such as the Rashid house, led by none other than Muhammad I, Sheikh of Shamar. His gracious wife, Shahira, is a daughter of our own royal house and an invaluable contact. Perhaps we will ask her if she can influence her husband to lend us a hand. I could always do with some more money. Or I could just say no and get prestige back, although my prestige is currently decaying. So no, I'm going to say, yo, give us some money. So, when are you going to build your navy? I usually start roughly when I hit Diplo 9, because that's when the next light ship becomes available, but I really begin in earnest at Diplo 15. Once you get frigates, that's when navies become really, really powerful and really, really good for money. Patrician of Venice, thank you very much for the follow. Great name. Yeah, there are a lot of Kaiserreich things I'm planning on doing. Like, my list is pretty significant. Okay, I am getting Diplo again, which is awesome. Oh, I thought I'm still losing one. Even though I've leveled you up to a level 3, how am I losing a Diplo? I mean, my diplomatical relations are obviously costing me. 3 plus 0 is 0. 3 plus 0 is 3. 5, 6. Minus 5 is 1. Yeah, it is. At least I am actually investing some Diplo into the annexation I'm doing. So it is moving, just not as quickly as it could be. Oman has a civil war. Oh no. Finally, we have heard back from Shahira regarding our request from her husband. The most noble Sheikh Mohammed I has decided to grant it. The reply returned with a coffer of gold to fill our emptying treasury. A letter of thanks shall be sent immediately to the generous Sheikh Mohammed I. Long may he reign. We knew he had a friend in Shamar. Shamar, the people that we are currently trying to annex. Whoopsie. Right, is one of these to steal land? No, steal money. You can pay off their debt. Enable Scotages to make more money, but they won't fight in the wars. No. I think it's the colonies where you can steal money from them. Can you read your list for Kaiserreich? It is currently buried under a bunch of things, but like Norway's on there, Russia's on there, Switzerland's on there. Another German run's on there. AUS is on there. I know there are a couple of others. I don't remember offhand. Big fan of your work. First time watching one of your streams live. Well, welcome and thank you. Appreciate that. Sending a coffin of gold. I wonder what sort of message that would really send. Yeah, not a great message, I would hesitate to say. Okay, so no, still not getting workshops, still not getting that stuff. I need to pay off my loans. Stop getting distracted. Our determination to embrace free trade has led to domestic merchants losing out on the rivals from other countries. So we can say they need to adapt, which costs us diplo power, which I can't afford. Or we lose trade power in the Gulf of Aden. I'm quite happy to lose a little bit of trade power in Aden. I'm going to take a guess and say Tsarist Russia. Wranglist Russia. Wrangel is the one and only saviour of the Russian people. Simply because of that one series I did long ago playing as Wrangel. Still ranks among my favourite. And a lot of people have asked me to play as the Soviets, but I'm not going to play as the Soviets because it's too freaking easy. Like, you can be minus 1,000 plus political power, and believe me, I've been there. It's like minus 1,500. Gone as soon as you go Soviet. Completely wiped. They need to make that transition more smooth. It's just way too easy. And the focuses and the bonuses they get are ridiculous. Far too easy. But playing as Wrangel is really good. And yes, I know he can be a Tsar. He was most definitely the Tsar. And he's one of these leaders, which is awesome because he can also become a general. So like when, what was his name? Really famous Russian general. It wasn't Konev. There's another one. World War II Russian generals, anyone? Zhukov, thank you. When Zhukov completely screwed up the invasion of Finland, Wrangel assumed direct control and won. That's just how much of a boss he is. Protests in Al-Quds. As men of great spiritual strength, but also firmly part of the establishment, members of the Ulema sometimes chose to join social protests. A recent altercation between the local garrison and the urban population in Al-Quds have attracted the attention of prominent mufti in the state of Palestine. Our local commander fears the situation might escalate unless we listen to the protesters, but doing so would come at a cost. So we can compromise, which moves us towards legalism, although the Ulema does like that. Or we can say no, and we move more towards mysticism, which is what we want to do. Yeah, the Ulema are really not going to like me for a while, I think. In the meantime, though, I could buy some more development. I think I'm going to wait a little bit longer until this is down to like 60%, just so I can catch that development cost reduction, because I'm currently running with minus 17% development, which is really quite nice. In fact, that... Oh, of course, I could have the minus 20% if I went with... that final idea. So that's actually a better idea. So I'm going to wait for that. Even if it means I don't get the 7.5% from the merchant guilds. 20% is, strangely enough, higher than 7.5. Because I still get the 10%. Finance report. Repay a loan. Absolutely. Trade League disbanded. How many miles? I have 3 left. Awesome. It's taken me about 50 years. No, less than that. 20 years probably to repay these loans, but I'm doing it. And I'm now once again training my army, so I'm going to be gaining professionalism, and also my cavalry is becoming even more awesome. Because they're already fighting at like plus 30% cavalry ability or something like that. Plus 20. Mamluk traditions and noble knights. Knights. What area in Kaiserreich would I want worked on, or reworked? Have a guess. It's one I've ranted about numerous times. And one which I really thought they were doing in this update, but they didn't. Our influence in Nakanulu has expired. They're still alive, though. I thought they got gobbled up, but apparently not. I am going to do that. You did force me to... Oh no, we are still allied. We're just not royal marriaged. Yes, we are. You're not a vassal. That's the problem. Alright, so your trust is really high, actually. And I'm getting +4 from 70 trust. Really? Legation cities need more work. I was very disappointed with how they did. China in general. Qing and Ostasien Gemeinschaft. Allgemeine Ostasien Gesellschaft. I knew there was part of that name I was missing. Alright, integrating Shamar. Done. So we have once again grown a little bit further. Our power is rising! And you are all infantry who can join our hordes of infantry who willingly march in the name of the Mamluks. And I should probably invest in expanding my army, considering I am now rather below my force limit. Although I am still low on money, so no, I'm not going to do that. And with all the new features Paradox is introducing, it's going to take even longer. Yeah, I still need to finish reading up about the decisions that they've added, the decision system. Because that looks amazing, but it's going to make every single country way more in-depth to mod. Although I'm sure that they can do a couple of generic ones. But it's interesting, because now you have focuses which are kind of locked in, you have to do these, and then the decisions which are like on-off. And then ministers and design companies and all that stuff. Ramadan. Soon it is the 9th month of our calendar, and the Muslims worldwide are preparing for a month of feasting. Fasting, even. Not feasting, it's the opposite. It is one of the 5 pillars of Islam and a fard obligatory for all adult Muslims who are not ill, travelling or pregnant. From dawn until sunset, no food is to be consumed, no liquids drunk, no tobacco used and no sexual relations allowed. It is a time of spiritual reflection, improvement and increased devotion and worship. No God-fearing Muslim should ignore Ramadan. This moves me towards legalism again! But yeah, it's totally a Muslim thing that I would do, so I'm going to do it. Although my missionary strength has risen. Why? I was already a zealot. I already had Musa Surua, I think. No, he's the new guy, isn't he? No, he was trade efficiency. I've had him for a while. Why has these got easier? I mean, I'm totally going to do it, but what's changed? I don't know why I can suddenly convert those. I just love the fact that the Mamluks have 3 missionaries, though. It's kind of ridiculous. So strong. Smugglers running rampant. People are finding lots of ways of getting around paying taxes and fees on moving goods. This is cutting into our income, but stopping it would cost quite a lot in the short term. So we'd lose trade efficiency and taxes for 10 years, or we could pay 178. I'm going to take a loan and I'm going to pay that off. Stop them! How good is the Australian focus tree in Kaiserreich, since everyone forgets about them? There is a reason that everyone forgets about that. It's because there isn't one. That's another. The focus trees that I would like to see the most would be Qing, Allgemeine Ostasien Gesellschaft, Australia, and Caribbean Federation. No, there isn't Australia the focus tree. Oh, you're asking him. No, there isn't. I checked that yesterday. Or whenever I did the Siam game. That was yesterday. I was streaming for like 12 hours yesterday. The whole thing's just kind of melded into one. Castile, end of the Peasants' War. Good. Ah, cultural reaction. Aha! So we can do this. which would allow me to get my idea for cheaper and then start actually converting stuff. And we're still at 60%, so yes. Oh, yes. Marvellous. So I'm not going to be able to do any of the admin power, but I can certainly spend a bunch of my military power on this, although we're not that far. We're only 3 years away from military. We're going to do this. We're going to spend it. So we're going to go to development, modifier. I mean, I would really like this to be in the places where the amirs are in power. That would add 300 manpower. It's always going to be 300 for these. It's less for those. Right, find me one of the Amir states, because I am intrigued. You. Plus 357. But the Amir state means that manpower modifier is not reduced. But it also means it's not increased. Wait, and it has plus 5 local unrest just because it's Amir? Oh, because the loyalty is low. Right, so if their loyalty was high, what would it do? I can call it Diet, and that would solve many problems. I can then demand military support, which would then cause a lot of problems, but hey, I want the power. Does it say anywhere? That's not on the local level. Does it say anywhere on the local level what it would give? So if you have high Amir, what would it improve? Because I suspect it's going to be manpower. Oh, that's recovery speed? Oh wow, it is. No wonder my manpower is going up so slowly. And then yeah, the tax modifier is not helping. I could give them a bunch of money and that would keep them quiet actually. You know what, do that, because that's going to pay back in the long term. Unfortunately I can't do anything like that for you. Right. Have I ever played Victoria 2? Yeah, there are two series of that up on my YouTube channel. The Rise of Prussia and the March of the Vikings. Which you can find at youtube.com/MordredViking. Or you can follow that. I'm just going to double check this. E4 Nobility Estate. Because I want to know what it gives you on the local level. Clergy, Cossacks, Dhimmi, Nobility. On the local level, here we go. It's manpower and defensiveness. I thought as much. So the places which are nobility will actually be the best places to increase right now. Which means you cost 46, you cost 46, you cost 23, much cheaper. 46, 43, 50, 50. 23. Ah, but you're the sugar one. You're one of the lands that I would try and strip you away from. I'd much rather have you in grassland.